Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the After Credit Show. We got Evander here. No Brandon, no Nick.
Actually, Brandon's right here.
Oh.
I got Brandon with me always.
He's a lot more tan and brown than I remember, but he's a little bit green too. Is that a little white pot or is that a little like toilet bowl? Like what is it?
It's Brandon's toilet bowl. This is Skivity Toilet.
Oh, okay.
Is that a topical reference?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Michael Bay is still making that movie.
Is he?
I don't think so. I thought that got debunked or something.
I don't think. I think it was real, right? I thought it got like shit canned. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that.
We'll talk about things we do know now, right?
Yeah.
Trailers came out, right?
Oh yeah, trailers.
Trailers.
That I definitely totally watched.
Did you actually not watch them?
No.
God, what do you?
I forgot to. Okay, if this doesn't tell you how much I'm like, all right, cool about these things, then
Let's just pause. Can we pause so we can talk about it? Okay, time skip. We caught up on all the trailers.
He means me.
Yeah, we mean Ben, because
Yeah.
I watched them. Go over He-Man first. I guess it's called Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe, yes.
We covered this one. I didn't even know it was getting made until we covered it on a previous episode. I think I like the trailer, but it feels a little more typical than I was expecting. Like the set photos and I think we got a brief description of it, and maybe it was the people who were involved in making it. I was expecting something like very like funny and satirical, and this one seems to largely be a very straightforward He-Man story, but with some kind of commonplace modern day blockbuster humor thrown in, and that was the vibe I got. It looked cool. Skeletor looks cool. I'm not gonna lie and say I'm a huge He-Man fan.
Yeah, I'm like there's a lot of IPs from like the 80s and late 70s that I enjoy. I've never gotten into He-Man. It was just a little bit awkward for me to get into. But
He-Man definitely didn't have the appeal of like, I think if you looked like, I think the trinity of that era, you're gonna know it's Transformers, G.I. Joe, and He-Man, right? That's like the 80s boys cartoons that had a toy line. And I think He-Man just didn't have the staying power because like G.I. Joe's like, it's soldiers with guns. That's Call of Duty. That's like an eternal, boys are always gonna like that. And then Transformers like, oh, it's fucking giant robots that turn into cars and planes and weapons.
Yeah.
Also cool. And then He-Man, I think my age bracket and younger, our age bracket and below, probably not below, our age bracket probably only has the experience of He-Man being that like a parody music video, the Hey Ya one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like He-Man,
yeah.
and it's just like edits the show to make it look really homoerotic. Where like, and there is a lot of homoeroticism in the visuals. It's just buff dudes with mustaches, shirtless, staring into each other's eyes in rainbow colors and pink shirts, and sweaty, oily men, which is fine. You know, I'm glad that's cool to me. But I just don't see that having large appeal to past the 80s. There's a lot of stuff in the 80s that was really cool, and it became, and I'm not using this in an insulting way, became gay, and that just didn't really appeal to younger guys for the most part, I think. And I think He-Man ended up being a casualty of that. So I'm curious what they're going to do with it. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I like that it's a straightforward He-Man story, actually, from what I can see, because I am really tired of them kind of like taking old IPs and being like, all right, let's take the stuff that's worked. Guardians of the Galaxy was a fantastic sci-fi success. Let's take that and the humor that came with Guardians and apply it to everything.
I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. I was expecting something, and maybe this is not exactly what did you ever watch a show called Son of Zorn?
No.
It was on Fox. It was out around the time Gotham came out. That's why I know about it. And it ran for one season. And it was funny because it was a sitcom, but the main character was literally a knockoff He-Man. His name was Zorn. And he was a big 2D hand-drawn guy, and he was the dad.
Oh, I've seen the... I haven't seen the show, but like I've seen like
it was pretty funny, and I was expecting something not literally that, where he's like a cartoon of the real world of family, but like I kind of was expecting some like a more satirical approach, not a James Gunn where like here it is with and again that not saying James Gunn in a bad way. I love James Gunn.
Yeah, no,
but
yeah,
it wasn't.
I'm not talking shit about James Gunn. I'm just talking shit about the people that copy him and do it badly.
Yeah, so I was expecting something more along the lines of or I guess that the trailer we just got for Street Fighter, that looks kind of what I was thinking of, where like it's acknowledging the silliness of it and it's just kind of leaning into it, I guess. We'll have to see. I don't know. I think I was just expecting more funny out of it and more like less blockbuster humor. I feel like I'm talking myself in circles, but I didn't dislike the trailer. I thought I'm curious. I'll watch it. I actually did see like one, and I maybe saw the second season of the He-Man show on Netflix.
I remember when you and Miguel talked about that. Yeah.
And I think I saw like season 1 or 2. If they did 3 seasons, I watched 2. If they did 2 seasons, I watched 1. But basically, I remember when that came out, that show got it got crazy criticism in my opinion. Because He-Man is missing for the majority of the show. And the female character that I believe is being played by the girl from Riverdale in this was the main character, I believe. And everyone was mad. But I was like, I don't give a fuck about He-Man personally, so I'm not offended that he's not really in it. And then he did show up at the end. He fucking kicked ass from what I remember. I thought, like, oh, he got the sword, and he's alive, and he's kind of kicking ass in this. And I'm not like a huge He-Man, like, I'm not going to die in the hell of the lore. So.
Yeah, I'm not a He-Man fan, so I can't say my opinion on that.
Yeah,
and also
respect to anyone who is.
I don't know the marketing of the show. Maybe it was misleading, and that's why people got kind of mad at first. Because that was from like an era where they would, when I say lay, I just mean like Hollywood would kind of get on this trend of like trying to like subvert expectations a little bit. I feel like that might have been like a side effect of that, but I mean, I think I know the twist from the beginning.
I think it got gooped up by some silly people who I don't really like that much, and we're like, this is nonsense. People who I don't know, but I thought the show was enjoyable. I hope this movie looks cool. I want it to be good. Like I want more silly, ridiculous things, right? Like when I see a movie that seems to be like absurd, I find that more interesting. And I would love more ridiculous, wacky things out there. So I'll be there to watch it.
I don't know. For me, I do love that type of stuff too. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for.
I'm talking about He-Man in general being silly and wacky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of like other movies that we've gotten that kind of have similar energy to us, because like even like Dungeons and Dragons, I really like Dungeons and Dragons. It kind of like has some of that. It has like a lot more of that blockbustery humor than this trailer gives off, and this is made by the same people.
Oh, it is? I think. Yes, that's what it was. That's why I was so hyped for this. Yes, okay.
So I think this movie is definitely going to be good if those people are making it, and I'm also happy that they kind of like demonstrated, or at least in the trailer. We don't know what the movie yet. Like it could just be like punchline to punchline in the movie. Yeah. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think they've demonstrated that like they're willing to like reel it in like a little bit, like not like 100%. Like this isn't like the Zack Snyder He-Man movie where it's all like over dramatic and
He-Man is
and all
Jesus.
That. Yeah, they're not doing that, but what they are doing is like they're kind of like looking at it from a different perspective, and I don't know how accurate it is to the source material, but it feels like that there is respect for it.
That
which
actually
is something that I like.
That did completely readjust my expectations. I love the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I think it does, as someone who's played very little Dungeons and Dragons, I think it does a good job of capturing like kind of the hecticness of playing the game and it's weird with the lore, and it goes all out. So I love that movie. I'd be excited to see basically anything that they're off to do next.
Yeah.
Visually looked good. I
Yeah.
loved the cast. I believe the guy playing He-Man, this is like his first real big role.
I definitely don't recognize him, and I really like that Hollywood recently has been taking, not necessarily like total like unknowns, but definitely like more like unknown level ish actors. You know, like
Yeah.
maybe they've been in like one or two like little kind of things, kind of
Yeah, like Corn
David Corn
Sweat,
Sweat. Like Corn Sweat with Superman.
Like we
I
kind
think
of
that's
knew
a
him. It's like,
fantastic
oh, I
trend.
saw him in Pearl, and that was about it. And then you saw
Yeah.
that show he was in on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah. That was like his first big kind of role, and he was really good in that. Even when I saw that show, I was like, oh, he's kind of reminds me of Superman a little bit. So I'm happy that he got cast as Superman, or how it ended up being. But yeah, I like that they're doing that for these like iconic kind of like characters. I think that's a good move, because then it gives you as a storyteller to focus on the character rather than trying to sell this out of this big Hollywood star that everyone knows and everyone's expecting that Hollywood star to do, and try to like tailor the story to that. I think it's really great to tailor the story just by the story rather than just trying to make it fit this like shape of like okay, we have to get an A-lister. This A-lister might have
we gotta make him look like the character.
But now we're not making the character work for the A-lister. We're making the actor work for the character, which is the most important thing for me. So I like that. That's good.
We got a trailer for, I think it's called Maul Shadow Lord or something, which is the Disney Plus animated Darth Maul TV show. I think Star Wars fatigue is one of the most intense fatigues going on in the entertainment industry. They're pumping out stuff that is like, for example, Mandalorian Grogu. I don't know anyone who's super excited for that movie. Maybe it'll be great. I'm not hoping it's bad. I'm just saying I think that it'd be silly to not acknowledge that there is some degree of people kind of being tired of the franchise. That being said, I thought the animation of the trailer looks incredible. I love Sam Witwer as Maul. I just love the way he sounds. And I believe he also wrote this show, or was like heavily involved in the story. And I have a lot of respect for him as like a Star Wars nerd. I think he's like a legit like he's kind of like, he feels like our guy kind of, where like he's just a dude who fucking loves Star Wars and is very passionate about it. And I've always felt like I've connected.
He's probably the most knowledgeable guy over there at Lucasfilm in terms of Star Wars.
Not that I no shade to him, but I've always felt like I connected with him more over Filoni, and they're kind of like the two, like, oh, we're the Star Wars guys, blah blah blah. I've always liked Witwer from playing Force Unleashed as a kid. When that game came out, I told him, I was like, Mom, cut my hair to look like Star Killer. My mom was like, that's just cutting your hair. Like, there's nothing fancy. He's just cool, and he's done so much work. He's played so many characters, and you just, there's so many stories of him just trying to keep the integrity of the franchise intact. So, I guess all that being said, I thought the trailer looked cool. I think the idea of it is cool. I like Maul. I think the thing with Maul is he came out in the 90s. It was 99 when he debuted in Phantom Menace. And he was cool, but he didn't have anything to do, right? And I guess if you read books and stuff, I've never read the Star Wars books. That was never my thing, but I guess that's probably where he was fleshed out more, because I think like in the 2000s, and even I guess before that, but like in the 2000s, like take every character who's ever appeared in a prequel movie and give them a fucking 6-part book series and expand their backstory. So I'm sure Maul, and I know Jango Fett, they all got books and comic books and stuff like that. But for me, I didn't see Maul ever again until the Clone Wars show brought him back, and that was awesome. I loved his part in that show. That's like a beloved interpretation of the character. I don't think there's like a Star Wars fan out there that's like, I fucking hate him in Clone Wars. And it's generally thought to be like one of the cooler parts of that show.
There's a, like, when it happened, there was like a little bit of like controversy just because like that was the first time that like George went back on something hard. Like with the Clone Wars, he kind of like reassessed some things, like the character of Anakin. That was a big one that like he faced a lot of criticism for with those original movies. So he had his team change Anakin a little bit with the Clone Wars, which I think it actually disconnects the character a little bit from the movies, but like it works in the show, so it's fine.
Yeah, it does. It definitely. I know what you mean. Where the character in Clone Wars feels different from the character that we see in Revenge of the Sith, but. Yeah, I understand, but you also have the flip side where the Clone Wars Anakin actually feels like the Anakin that Obi-Wan talked about in A New Hope.
Well, yeah, like he feels like the legend of what Anakin was, and then the prequel Anakin is like the reality. Like that's
I guess.
Yeah, like that's why a lot of people say that like that people try to like cope with it, right? Because it's so different. They're like, you see, Anakin in the Clone Wars is the perception of Ahsoka. And how Ahsoka
I hate
when
Anakin. People say that stuff. I hate when people are like, every time.
I know. It's like, this makes me look really smart when I say this.
I hate whenever like there's a character gets consistency or something like, it's because you're looking at it through a false lens. I'm like, okay, everything isn't a fucking noir with an unreliable narrator. Star Wars doesn't have a fucking narrator. It doesn't even, I mean, it kind of has a main character in like the movies, but like it has like a group of main characters. In the OT, Han and Leia and Luke are the main characters, and in the prequels, it's Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme. There's no like single character who's skewing our perspective of the world. I hate when people drop stuff like that. It's so lame. It's like, this is my thing. It applies to Star Wars, it applies to DC, it applies to everything, but those two a lot. It's okay to. You don't have to say that. You can just like the prequels. You can just like the Clone Wars. You don't have to sit here and be like, oh, well, actually, this is the reason this makes sense. It's like, no, you can invent that reason in your head, but that doesn't make it fucking reality. And it's fine. You don't have to make it reality. It can be a lie you tell yourself. Like, I've seen people saying this, and I don't know if George actually said it, but I've seen people like, oh, well, George Lucas actually believes that Star Wars is told from the perspective of R2-D2. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. That doesn't make a goddamn... What do you mean it's told from the fucking perspective of R2-D2?
That's not true.
In half the movies. He's in all of them, but he's not in half of the runtime. Why are we...
And also, like, with Star Wars, like, it kind of touches upon a little bit of what you're saying, just not with R2-D2. That, like, originally... This is probably like not really the concept as the movies went on, but originally it was supposed to be like the Wills. Do you know the Wills? Like from they were shown the Clone Wars. Like when Yoda, they see like those like marionette Five Nights at Freddy's ghost looking things. Anywho, it's supposed to be like the Wills watching the events of the Skywalker family.
What,
George? That's the original idea. I didn't say that that's what actually was happening, but that was the original idea.
I was like, what is being smoked here? Goddamn space whales are the perspective of
No, that's some Dave Filoni stuff there with the space whales, but yeah, no.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Back to Maul. They brought him back. I think people generally I see a lot of praise for
Yeah, if people were hesitant about it when it happened, they definitely came around to it.
Yeah, and I think it's cool.
Fast,
I actually agree. I think that everything they did with him in the Clone Wars and even in Rebels, it does so much for his... I think he's a really cool, very interesting character. Because in Phantom Menace, he's not a literal... Like, he's a literal character, but he's not a character. He doesn't talk that... Like, he's just a guy. You know? He doesn't really have explained motivation. He's like, I'm the bad guy. I'm gonna go fucking kill him. He's a goon. Yeah, he's a thug. He's an assassin. But I think he's super cool. The way they fleshed out his character, past that, and I guess the blurb about the show from Sam Witwer was that it's about Maul being like a true, authentic, like acolyte of. A bad word for me to say talking about Star Wars. He's a true believer in the Force and the Sith, and that as he watches the Force and the dark side be used to create this giant evil empire. He's like, I have to, like, it's my duty, even as someone evil, to like intervene and put a stop to this to a degree. I guess I might be misquoting it a little bit, but for the vibe, my understanding that I got from the quote was that Darth Maul is like, look, we're evil. I'm the bad. We're like the dark side, but the way that manifests is different from like what the Emperor does. Like Darth Maul's vision for what should happen with the Star Wars universe kind of branches off, and the Emperor goes this way, and that's his kind of has some kind of like moral duty to intervene in some way, not to be a good guy, but just to be like another evil asshole who's like, I don't like these evil assholes. And I think that's interesting to explore like a villain's perspective in that way.
Yeah. Just for me, like, this is coming from like a huge like Star Wars fan from like that, from the original era, that prequel era, and all that. Like, I especially with the Disney canon, because with the Disney canon, it feels like we've kind of like made use of everything. Maul, like we see where he's returned in Clone Wars. We see him go into the exile or whatever it was supposed to be, like when he becomes that crime lord, which is what the show's gonna explore. And then we see him in Rebels, and then we see him again in Rebels, and we see him die. For me personally, I think that character, like everything that was laid out in his big Clone Wars return, has kind of like, that itch has been scratched.
I didn't see, what did we see of his the crime lord stuff? I feel like that's something that got like, I thought that was kind of interesting when they teased it in Solo, but then I never saw it. So like
the crime lord stuff is just like it. We saw it a little bit in the 7th season of the Clone Wars, but honestly, I just don't think it's totally like that like interesting. That seems like something that you would save for like a Star Wars extended universe novel. I don't think I would dedicate a whole show to that, because like what's he gonna, I don't know. I just feel like the main essence of the character, in terms of the Disney continuity with Rebels and Clone Wars and whatnot, I just feel like you've kind of like gotten all the main juice from that character. But my question is for you, like, do you know anything about the little Twi'lek girl who's hanging around?
I saw some fucking short on YouTube. George wanted her to be his apprentice, right? Like I saw,
so in
like
George's 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, she was.
Maul
was the villain,
and and so she was from the EU, from like.
I've seen pictures
from the time of
I'm assuming she's
Skywalker.
like the like. I always see like the fan art of like the hot Twi'lek Darth Maul, like super sexualized. Look like she's coming out of Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So people are believing that that's gonna be like that's gonna be her.
I mean, that sounds interesting to me. Like I said, I like Maul, and I think my perspective on this nonsense in Star Wars is, if it looks cool and it comes out and it's cool, I don't want to write it off. So like, I'll watch it. If it comes out and people are saying it's good, I'll watch it. You know, and I could see, I can in my mind, I think that's how I judge things. In my mind, could I see something that I want to watch being told here? Yeah. So like that's kind of my bar for if I would be open to something. Like there's just like, it's almost like we're making a show about the Ugnaughts' life on fucking Bespin. I'm like, okay, that's not it. I can't see that being interesting. But like, cool, Darth Maul scrapping against the Empire, like I could see that being cool. So that's like my barrier for if I think something's even worthwhile to check out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be like that guy where it's like, oh, well, but we know how it ends. But like, again, it's a pretty tight and knit continuity with everything. And again, going back to Clone Wars, like when you brought back Maul, his primary focus, despite getting power and all that, his primary focus was like, I need to get revenge on fucking Obi-Wan.
For cutting my ass in half.
Yeah, and we saw all that stuff in Clone Wars, and then we even got the little bonus thing in Siege of Mandalore where we saw a little bit more Maul like resisting the Sidious kind of stuff with the Empire. So I feel like even that stuff that the show is going after, it has again already kind of scratched my itch. Like I don't really need to see like Inquisitors, which like even in the idea of Inquisitors, I'm not really like a huge fan of, honestly. Like
I think the Inquisitors lost their luster when they kept putting them in things. They kept getting bitched out.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we got
overexposed
overexposed to Inquisitors, and they kept
excuse to give them a red lightsaber. Like I get it.
Yeah.
Lightsaber fights are cool, but also like I don't give a fuck about any of these guys. I'm sorry.
I lost my my wonder for the Inquisitors the first time I saw them using a fucking spinning lightsaber to fly in Rebels. I was like, this is...
Even then, I gave them a chance, but it was just all
this
right.
is
You guys kind of became like the Grand Inquisitor was kind of cool, but then he died
cool.
like immediately.
Yeah, I thought he was cool.
And then you had the Team Rocket Inquisitors. And then they died. Darth Maul fucking killed them. So again, we've seen Darth Maul do all these things before. We don't need a brand new show where he does all the same shit again. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay. Like, I love Darth Maul. I don't need to see more shit of Darth Maul doing the same thing. I just don't care about that. I think there are better stories to be told. I'm like, all right, dude. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's me.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I mean, again, there's not much to say. Just a brief trailer. Not much thoughts on it outside of that. And then we have... Oh, wait, no. No, I'm not done. Sussy,
okay.
Sussy release date on that trailer, don't you think?
I didn't see the release date.
That Darth Maul trailer came out kind of shortly after a big controversy involving Darth Maul.
I don't want to talk about
I'm going to talk about it. What are the fucking odds? So...
that felt like it was super on purpose of the way that they... went about, because they released a teaser for the teaser right after that happened. You do realize that, like, you didn't have to put that out. If this was like a couple days after, people still would have been like, that's a little bit weird. But like hours after that happened, they were like, anyway, Darth Maul trailer tomorrow.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Ray Park, the original body actor for Darth Maul, not the voice, that's Peter Serafinowicz, but he was the stunt performer for Maul. He was in the makeup and everything. He, a couple years ago, posted some very inappropriate videos of his wife on social media. It was a big controversy. He went ballistic, and also, for some reason, was like crashing out on the actor of young Boba Fett in the prequels. It was a weird thing. I don't know what happened with that. I think everyone kind of like was like, well, that was weird, and then moved on. And what's crazy was, at that time, there was allegedly a Darth Maul live action show in the work he was going to come back for. I don't know if you remember that. And he crashed out.
I remember that,
and
yeah.
Everyone was like, reports are saying that show's dead in the fucking water. Like, after that, like, Disney doesn't want to fucking touch with the 10-foot pole.
They were probably going to cancel it anyway.
Well, yeah, they
canceled
cancel everything, but like, I guess like, it got shit canned definitively when he did that. Now, fast forward to now, 2026, he did it again. I don't know why. He did it again. And they were like, new Darth Maul show, guys. We saw Darth Maul's trending on Twitter. We don't know why, but we thought it's probably a good time to announce the show. And that's just like, there's a curse. I know that like people talk about the Power Ranger curse, where like everyone who's played a Power Ranger, or at least a alarming majority of people who played Power Rangers, kind of went on to have like tragic lives. There was the tragedy with Jason David Frank, but another one of the Power Rangers like robbed like a bank or something, and a lot of them just go on to have like very bad, I think, lives take a bad turn. And I don't think it's just Power Rangers. I think the most cursed thing that can happen to you is doing one beloved nerd project 20 years ago, not being able to springboard that into a career, and having to spend the next fucking 25 years touring Comic-Con, taking pictures of nerds who think you're actually the character. I think that literally drives you insane. And I think that took hold in, and obviously, there are other underlying issues, but that happened with Ray Park. It's just happened with quite a few people. That just sounds soul crushing. Like, you're in this big thing. Like, I'm in Star Wars. It's like life is going up from here, and then you kind of just can't springboard that into massive success. Um, I think the smart, who has a really good approach to dealing with that is
Mm.
the guy who played Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2, Roger Clark, because he did Red Dead Redemption, and he's a voice actor just in that. And those people, like, a lot of them don't go on to do a bunch of work. Like, he hasn't done anything big after that. And even Rob Wiedoff, who was John Marston Red Dead Redemption 1, hasn't really done anything big after that. But Roger Clark, he was just like, I'm just going to fucking stream video games and talk about Red Dead and not drive myself insane. And he seems to have like a good relationship with the fans. And so does also from another Rockstar game, Ned Luke, who played Michael DeSanta in GTA 5. I think that's the move. If anyone is somehow watching this and you're going to be in Star Wars or some other nerd shit and your career doesn't take off after, just go to Twitch and stream video games and answer fucking donos about your fucking shit. That will drive you less insane than forcing yourself to go, like, never be home and tour, like, Comic-Cons for, like, the next fucking 40 years. I that's my advice to you. Just stay at home. I think that's the new audience to the new avenue to engage with an audience and have fans and still make a profit off of it. So that's my advice to save anyone this very rare instance case from going insane.
The actor of Franklin actually, I think he just started doing that.
Yeah,
from GTA 5.
I've seen him talk with Ned Luke before. It's smart, right? Like, because like you're in the game, they just fucking stream Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto and fucking play it. And they fucking people donate because people want to hear like, oh, here's $20. Can you say boy in the Arthur Morgan voice? Sure thing, boy. Okay, fucking stream for fucking 20 minutes, and then you just fucking or just stream for 20 minutes. You stream for a couple hours, $20, and then you move
sometimes it's 20 minutes is all they need.
Yeah, you do a fucking you do a cameo. I think like that's so funny how the internet kind of changed how you can maximize any degree of success you've had, because before there wasn't such a thing as like Cameo, and like there wasn't such a thing as like Twitter, and there wasn't Twitch, and YouTube didn't pay. So like you were like you better go to this Comic-Con, buddy, and you better satiate all those fans for the rest of your life, okay? And you think about it, you have all those ambitions. Like they probably have the same ambitions me and you have to do bigger things. And like, dude, that I feel like I always say like, if I ever get a taste of success, and it doesn't work out, I'm killing myself on the spot. It's so I can imagine how soul crushing it probably is to be like, this is my break, and then not have it pan out, dude. It sounds rough, but we all got to cope with that, however we can.
Yeah, no, I mean like it's tough. I mean like I would like to think that like if that were to ever like happen, like I'd be able to like just figure something out.
I'd kill myself.
But even if I don't,
I'd do it on the spot.
I mean like I don't know. I mean like I don't know like what the career path. I mean like Daniel Logan, who's young Boba Fett, he was a very young child actor when he did that first movie. So like for him, he's like, damn, I'm like set for life, and I'm like 10. That's pretty awesome. Like so, I mean, there's different ways to look at it.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like
I think it also
like,
is.
if you enjoy film and all that, then you can use that money that you make from the console like to make your own movies.
I think
like there's always another route.
It's also good for younger actors too, like him, because they might not have. When you're 10, you don't have your whole life dead set. What you want, right? So like, if you're 10 and you're in fucking Star Wars and that shit blows up, but your career doesn't pan out of that, maybe by the time you're like 16 or 17, you're like, I want to be a lawyer. And it's
16 or 17.
Doesn't count. But maybe by the time you're a little bit older, maybe you're like, cool, I want to be a lawyer, or I want to be a doctor or some shit, and I can continue doing that. And it's like, cool, I got to be Boba Fett as a kid. Awesome. You can move on, and your life hasn't been completely fucking derailed, and your fucking dreams haven't been crushed necessarily. That's probably, but also, I feel like Hollywood is not a great place for the youngins historically.
Definitely not. There's a few crazy documentaries on that. But
Really?
yeah, I mean, like, even like Gray Park, he was in like X-Men and
Yeah, he's Toad.
some other kind of he's some other
Did
kind
he
of
come
things,
back in
but
Deadpool and Wolverine when Toad is on screen? Is that him?
I don't think he did. No. If I had to guess, I don't think so. It was probably because of that
video
thing that he did, if anything.
Crazy
but,
move.
Yeah.
Crazy move.
I don't know.
That's what drugs will do to you,
what he's
buddy.
going through, but like that's. Yeah, I don't know what events had to happen for him to get to.
I hope he gets help. That's what I'll say.
I will post this. Yeah, no, I hope.
I hope he gets help. We got to joke about it a little bit, but I hope he gets help.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll
joke
joke about it.
I'll
joke about it. I'll joke about it. Everyone else can. I can be like that meme of the soldier with his arms out getting hit by all the knives and arrows, and you can be the child sleeping in bed. I'll be the one who's.
Yeah, it's because I didn't joke about it on the podcast.
I know that's what I'm saying. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You can.
I
can joke about it, and I'll take the knives and the arrows.
No, I actually. I won't go into too much detail on the podcast, but like I know someone that knows him, and there's like he has friends that love him, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah, hopefully he gets some help.
Yeah.
Daredevil Born Again Season 2 trailer. I'm gonna go in a hater mode.
For context, I actually watched all of season 1 for
I
Born
knew
Again.
not to.
So why don't you tell a little story all about how your life got turned upside down?
I'm a huge Punisher fan. And I'll say, when season 1 of Born Again came out, Brandon was actually living here, and we sat down and watched the first episode. The first 2 episodes had dropped back to back on one day, and I was like, if they do this cringe shit that I know they're going to, I'm like, I'm not watching this shit. And they did it, and I was like, well, I'm not watching a single other fucking second of this goddamn show. Brandon's like, yes, you will. Yes, you will. The Punisher's gonna be in it.
Brandon's like, I'm trying to watch Daredevil with my friends. What are you saying? You're not watching this anymore. You're like, and then you're like, I can't take it. I've had enough. Like, no,
I've had enough.
No, I can't do it. Brandon's like, what the fuck are you saying right now? Like, because we all watched.
I crashed out.
I was in that call.
I crashed out. I crashed out. Because, look, what I'll say is, this is about to become the after politics show. No, just kidding. But the Punisher symbol has noticeably been present on some right-leaning individuals, which has been a exceedingly controversial stance to take. I think most notably during January 6th, there were, I'll call them insurrectionists, wearing the Punisher skull logo. I'm allowed to talk about January 6th. My mom was there. I can say whatever I want about it now, okay? And that's not a joke. And due to that usage of the Punisher by these groups, that led to Marvel being like, why don't we shelve the Punisher for forever and never bring him out unless it's to metaphorically make him get on his hands and knees and beg for forgiveness and go, I hate when people wear my logo. I hate when people do this. It's so bad. And it's like, I get it. I'm not a fan of these groups. I don't like it. Would Punisher want them wearing his logo? Probably not, as a fucking huge Punisher fan. But I think it's so lame to drag out the character for some corny ass self-flagellation for nonsense. And what I think it does is, by only using Punisher to bring him out to be like, fascists and right-wingers like me, and that's bad. What you're doing is you're creating a world where normies who don't read Punisher, their only experience with him is Punisher going, fascists and right-wingers like me, and now they think everyone who fucking likes Punisher is a fascist and a right-winger. And it's like, no. For me, it bled over to my personal life. When I wore a fucking mask for Halloween, I didn't have a costume. I went to a Halloween party, and I just fucking wore a mask with a skull on it. And I was like, I'm a purger, I guess. I wore a jacket like, I'm on the purge. I just watched it today, whatever. And someone I worked with who doesn't like or read comics, but is very politically involved, which is fine, saw it and was like, what are you, like the Punisher? And with like that tone of voice, I'm like, nah, I'm just like the purge. I'm John Purge. What I think you do is you're creating like a reverse Streisand effect where you keep telling people like, I don't even know this, maybe that is, I guess that kind of is the Streisand effect where you're like, guys, only fascists and right wingers like the Punisher. That's bad though. You're creating a world where like people think that that's like the reality, whereas like I'm a normal person, I just like the Punisher, but I can't fucking say that without fucking white women looking at me in a weird way.
Yeah.
That's what's annoying to me. So when Daredevil Born Again came out, and the second episode, it's like, it's the corrupt cops, and they have the Punisher logo. I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're doing it again. I'm like, it's fine. Okay, they did it they did that story 20 times. 5 times was good enough. I don't need the 20 and the 21st time of beating the same dead horse. It's literally the Punisher and right wingers is a dead horse that's been turned to ground beef because they've just beaten the shit out of it. It's so lame. It's so corny. Fuck everybody who thinks it's a good idea to keep doing it. Every time I've ever publicly been like, this is corny and lame, they're like, so you love fascism? I'm like, no, dumbass. I just think the point's been made already. Can we fucking move on? Can the Punisher kill a criminal again, please? Why'd I have the Punisher shotgun a rapist's head off without me having to get a fucking lecture about January 6th again? It's just so lame. I hate, please, 2 people who are watching this, don't loop me in with like the fucking anti-woke. Don't loop me in with anybody. I think I'm too hard to pin down. Don't loop me in with like the anti-woke, don't put politics in art people, because I don't believe that. Don't put me in the group of people who think all art is political, because I don't necessarily believe that either. I just would like to see the Punisher shoot someone in the face. I'm hyped for the Punisher special, because John Bernthal was like, yeah, it's just the Punisher killing fools. I'm like, thank fucking God. Please. The point has been made. We get it. Can I just have my character back now?
So with the John Bernthal special thing, what's interesting about Bernthal is that he was originally not in Born Again Season 1.
Yeah.
And they did some reshoots for that show. But they extremely heavily exaggerated to the point where it was almost false marketing.
How much was reshot? They're like, yeah, we reshot like 1 episode.
Yeah, it was like fucking like maybe 2 episodes max. Yeah. Because like as soon as like the intro, like even like the premiere episode, like the intro, obviously that was like the new stuff of like Poindexter and Daredevil going at it. Like that was clearly reshot and redone because Foggy and Karen,
they're
like,
all in the set photos, right?
Yeah. They weren't in the original show. They weren't even in the original show. So they actually brought them back for
which is such a wild move. What a crazy decision. No. And they, spoilers, kill Foggy and have Karen part ways with Daredevil anyways because they're not even in half the show because more than half the show is the original show. But yeah, Punisher, because they asked John Bernthal to be in season 1. He said no, and then they rewrote some stuff in season 1. He's like, okay, fine. The only thing I've seen from him in that show is I watched the first scene when Daredevil finds him in his lair, and I liked that scene. I thought that was actually well written.
That was a good scene. That was the best scene in that whole entire show.
I could tell because John Bernthal's the fucking GOAT. I have some issues with the Punisher show in terms of how it interprets the character and what they do with them, but he seems to get the heart of that character. And I like that Daredevil is a good guy and is a very self-righteous guy and is right a lot of the time, but Punisher is literally metaphorically he's a straight shooter. He doesn't fuck around. So when Daredevil comes up to him, he's like, what do I do? And Punisher's like, you're full of fucking shit. He's like, you're asking for my permission to kill these people. And he's like, and you just fucking are trying to cope that you live in a world where fucking Bullseye's still alive, but your best friend is fucking dead and you feel like a failure. I'm like, I like that. They seem to get it. Daredevil's a good guy who gets a little bit up his own ass because he has a very complex moral code. And Punisher is just like, he's a no bullshit guy. And I think it's a great dynamic between the two of them. You need kind of your straight man. But yeah, so I that's my thoughts. on that. Also,
Yeah.
Punisher in Spider-Man. Next.
Yeah, he is going to be in Spider-Man.
Exciting.
Yeah. Hopefully that's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, this new season of Daredevil Born Again, I don't think I'm going to watch it because I did not like season 1. And I know this is probably going to be better than season 1, but I just I stopped watching Disney Plus shows after I stopped watching Marvel Disney Plus shows after Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And then I stopped watching Disney Plus shows in general pretty much after Ahsoka, but then I still watched X-Men.
I was going to say you watched because X-Men's
really
that's such what a diamond in the rough. What a great show.
Yeah. And that's not to criticize or to shit on any of those other shows. I'm just
they
all right.
Speak to me.
That they don't speak to me. They don't resonate with me. I respect the people that they do because I'm friends with a lot of them. So that's content for them. That's not content for me. That's fine. We all have different pieces of the pie. That's all right. But there's just not a whole lot that's speaking to me even from this trailer, which is okay, fine. I like Matthew Lillard. I think that's awesome that he's in it.
Love that guy.
He's just gonna play some random fucking guy.
Yeah, maybe he'll end up being somebody. And then to double down, this whole season is more of the Punisher fascist stuff. The half of this minute-long trailer is just the corrupt cops with a Punisher skull on them.
Yeah, so they didn't even learn their lesson. They're just
because they didn't learn their lesson
because
they got their fucking dicks sucked by fucking moronic Marvel fans who are yes, please ejaculate in my mouth. I love this. Please keep telling me the same thing over and over again. Please, I love it. I love it.
That's a crazy. I was gonna make a joke, but I decided not to make.
Fuck them. I don't care anymore. I'm over this nonsense, and I understand.
Cosmonaut is not gonna agree with you.
Fuck that guy.
But damn. But yeah, I don't I don't know. I'm just not I was not gonna watch the trailer until Evander paused the podcast and was like, "Motherfucker, you have to watch the trailers for the goddamn podcast."
Yeah.
I'm like,
I wouldn't have watched. I wouldn't have watched it either if it wasn't for this.
Yeah, I'm just all right. It's just more in the machine. That's not for me. But when there is more stuff in the machine that is for me, then I will watch it. But this is not for me.
I like the original show. Off-putting to viewers. Just these guys are yeah, I don't really get.
I know it's these guys hate everything here. This Ben guy hasn't said a single good thing about the last 2 trailers. Yeah. I'm again. I'm not saying this to shit on anything. I like to be authentic, without being a total asshole about it. I recognize that I can be an asshole, and I am an asshole, but I try to sugarcoat it a little bit for the people. But yeah.
News on Batman.
So why don't you eat me?
Yeah, eat them. We got Batman news. The scriptwriter was revealed for what's it called? What's the Batman movie? Brave and the Bold. Brave and the Bold. That title's getting changed, by the way.
That 100%. No, I love that title, but it's not flying.
Yes,
it's not
I agree. What I always think.
See, I said something nice. Yeah. I said something nice. Yeah. So stop.
Whenever I think of a movie title, because me and Ben write, whenever I'm what do you call this? I'm can I imagine someone walking up and asking for 1 ticket to this? Can I imagine a dude to be can I get 1 ticket to Brave and the Bold?
We should just call it Batman and Robin.
Yeah, there you go.
If Damien's still in the movie, they should just call it Batman and Robin. Yeah. Should just do that. Take it back.
Hey,
take the name back.
I was saying that name has a great reputation. It'll work out very well for them. But the writer is Christina Hodson, who I'd say infamously among DC fans, or maybe I think that movie's kind of wide range of opinions. She wrote Birds of Prey, or the Harley Quinn and the of one Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, very long title.
Funny title, very quirky.
Yes.
That movie has a wide range of opinions, I believe, right? Because I think I've seen people that love it, I've seen people that hate it, I've seen people that it's pretty good.
When it came out, I saw some people like it. I've not seen anyone like it since.
Well, yeah, I think 12 people saw it according to the box office, and I think I was one of them. It also came out at the start of COVID. Yeah. I remember because
I remember when that movie.
Me and my friend were we're gonna go watch every new movie in theaters. He got a pass, and we watched that, and then theaters shut down 2 weeks later.
What was so funny is that I was playing a game of bowling with someone who I name dropped last episode with the big P. And not that those are, well, maybe they're related. I wouldn't know. However, yes, Birds of Prey came out, and there wasn't really an audience for it.
Yeah,
I think that's fair to say. Like I don't think a lot of people resonated with it, and those that do, that's your movie.
Yeah,
that's good for you. But a lot of people and a lot of Black Mask fans, like Andrew, on whichever end this is on, really didn't like it. And if you recall, there were deleted scenes or deleted storyline from that movie.
Well,
regarding
it wasn't a deleted storyline. It was
they
changed they changed the MacGuffin. In the movie,
yeah,
they're trying to get this diamond that belongs to Black Mask that is revealed to have all of his personal information on how he runs his crime empire. And in the original, the diamond actually was supposed to contain his penis photos, and that tested horribly. And Christina Hodge, or not, the director, I can't remember the director's name, was like, that was actually never in the script, and people confirmed, like, yes, it was. They're like, it was in the script.
I love it when, like, movie studios and, like, people attached to the big movies try to lie about shit like that. They just lie straight to your face, and then they immediately get disproven.
Yeah.
It's just best just to be like, I'm not talking about that.
Just she didn't have to comment on that. She didn't have to comment on the controversy. Like it was
on her mind.
It wasn't in the fucking movie that released. Don't talk about it. You don't have to talk about the shit that didn't make it into the movie. It doesn't matter if people are talking about it online. Just fucking ignore it. It's better than fucking lying. But yeah, as Ben alluded to, again, me getting pissed off about how my characters are treated. I love Black Mask. It's my favorite.
It's a double whammy this episode. We're checking off Marvel and DC for this shit in this episode.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Like
it's my favorite Star Wars character is Darth. I went back to Star Wars. My favorite Batman villain is Black Mask. Wow, that was a crazy. What the fuck happened to my brain? I was about to lie and say my favorite Star Wars character is Darth Maul. I do like Darth Maul, but that wouldn't have been accurate. But yeah, I love Black Mask. That's my favorite Batman villain. I feel like every time he's put into something, it's for him to be a punching bag, and like for someone like he's a jobber. Like they bring him out to beat him up and be like, because he's in like that middle ground where he's not necessarily like a street thug Batman villain like Carmine Falcone, but he's not necessarily a villain either. Because he has like a gimmick, he has a mask, he has a costume, but he also is like a mob boss. So I think people like to use him in that little middle ground where they like just have people beat him up because he's powerful enough to be impressive to beat him up, but he's not big enough that it feels like you're devaluing one of our iconic villains. The Arkham games, infamously, he's shown at the start of Arkham City just being tased and beaten by Tiger Guards. That's all you see of him in that game, apart from a DLC. In Arkham Origins, I was lied to by goddamn the director of that game, who said in interviews, lied in Game Informer magazine and told me we wanted to take a break from the Joker. He'll be in this game, but he's not the main villain. What we wanted to do was show everyone why Black Mask is so cool. What a fucking goddamn lie.
Because it's a disguise for the Joker.
He is revealed to have been knocked out and defeated before the events of the game and has been tied up in a warehouse the entire time.
Fuck.
Insane. And then Batman...
I think the story for that game is amazing.
It is.
But like...
That shit pisses... Yeah. And then, when you find him, it's revealed that he has a weak heart and had a pacemaker installed, and Batman fucking tortures him by amping up his pacemaker, and then you never see him again outside of a side mission where he walks and goes, "Why'd you blow up my drugs?" And he's just a random, like, he's just a generic goon with his skin, and then you can just beat the fucking shit out of him. It's so annoying. And that's all he's been used for. He appeared in the animated DC AMU. He's in Batman Bad Blood. He appears for 3 seconds to get his face blown up by Damian Wayne to get the mask melted onto it. Then he appears in Birds of Prey, fantastically cast as Ewan McGregor, to take some vernacular from a friend of ours. He has insane drip in that movie, and then he is just blown up. He's just blown up and he dies screaming like a coward and explodes into a puddle of mist. There is a torture scene in the movie, and he doesn't do the torturing. His whole gimmick is that he loves torture. That's Black Mask's only thing.
Sadistic.
He is obsessed with ancient torture techniques and devices. His most infamous moment is capturing Stephanie Brown and torturing and murdering her. That's his most famous moment. And in the movie, there's a scene where someone's going to be tortured, and he's like, I don't like to get my hands dirty. Yucky blood. And steps away and has Zaz do it for him. What the fuck? So, to go into my thoughts on Christina Hodson writing...
Well, we didn't even talk about the other DC movies that she was a part of as well.
Which ones?
We only talked about Birds of Prey, The Flash, and Batgirl.
Here's what I'll say.
That Peter Safran himself was like, this movie's going to damage the brand, and we can't release it.
Really? I didn't hear that. I heard it from whatever.
That's crazy. That's real.
Wow.
That's real. Peter Safran himself was like, if we release this is going to do irreparable damage to what we want to do with DC.
Damn. I wonder if he just meant from like a technical standpoint in terms of like...
Yeah, I mean, like, there is interpretation to what he said.
Because so I have heard from people that, like, it tested quite well. Not that means... I don't want to comment on the quality of a movie that didn't release, to be fair. Yeah. I don't think either of us want to,
I'm just saying that's what, like, the co-CEO of DC said.
And The Flash, boy, I mean, I try to have understanding for that movie because, like, what a horrible position to be in, to be working on that film that was stuck in development purgatory for fucking 10 plus years. But yeah, I mean, I think her most notable entry for me at least is definitely Birds of Prey. And my one concern is, and let me give my more thoughts on it. I think that movie infamously, to me, butchers Black Mask character. And I think to a lot more people, what a mischaracterization of Cassandra Cain. I think one of the most...
That part, I don't think that was the screenwriter's doing, because there was a comment made by a comic book writer. I forgot what her name was. I don't know if she has...
Oh, is it Amanda Connor?
With the character. Maybe. She did say that the creative team that might include Christina, that's her name, right? We're pushing for a more comic accurate Cassandra, and the studio was like, not sure if we want to do that.
That's so bizarre. That's what I was gonna. My full thoughts is gonna be, I don't know what her work will look like under James Gunn and Safran, who seem to want more comic accurate interpretations. That might have because my perspective is like that, and that seems to not be the case. But I was open to the possibility that they were just like, run wild and do whatever the fuck you want. And she's like, okay, I'll change this. She also wrote Bumblebee, I believe, which I think you can criticize the movie for being a little bit... It's kind of derivative. Okay, I get it. It's Iron Giant. But I don't think it's a poorly written movie. I think the characters are well written, and I like the way it plays out. And then I think everyone on Earth who likes Transformers, like, opening 10 minutes, most goated Transformers shit of all time. The Cybertron stuff. I don't know. I don't want to, like, immediately be like, this movie's doomed. I know I've gotten multiple videos recommended to me. People are like, it's doomed. There's a woman writing this shit. It's cooked.
That's what kind of pisses me off with that. Here's what I'll say as a fellow writer, and as a fellow writer that has gotten paid and has had notes given to their scripts. Not everything that you do, especially when working with a huge studio like Warner Brothers. I'm being extremely diplomatic here because I want to show a little bit of like
to shreds.
Yeah, well, like sometimes like you don't have a say. Sometimes they're like, listen, we want you to do it this way.
Yeah.
And you have to be like, okay, I'll make it the best that I can be with the way that this person wanted to do it. There's been stuff that I've had to write that, again, I've worked with, like, all these people I would be happy to work with again. I love working with all these people.
Yeah.
But, like, there's definitely some things, again, I won't say who, because I'm a good guy. There's some things that I've had to write where I'm like, I'm personally not a huge fan of it, but you're not the director. You're not the one telling the story.
Yeah.
You are writing the story into words for the director to portray visually.
Yeah.
That's what your role is as a storyteller. And it's no secret that whole era of Warner Brothers, including Batgirl, including The Flash, including Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey probably had the least creative interference, to be fair. However, that whole era of DC is infamous.
Yes.
For mishandling their creators. Yeah. And the only thing I've seen this person write before was Bumblebee. And I'll be honest, not a big fan of Bumblebee. I think there's action stuff that's cool. I love the visual direction, but the writing, I'm like, yeah, you know, like it works for the movie. I'm not crapping on that. So the way that you gotta look at this is like, okay, James Gunn is well aware of all the crap that The Flash has gotten, that Birds of Prey has gotten.
That guy do be online.
He literally co-signed the deletion of Batgirl.
Damn.
He had a huge hand in deleting that movie.
He hit the button.
He did
pushed
that.
The button.
He pushed the delete button. And yet he's like, you know what? I'm going to get the director and the writer of the most hated superhero movie in the last 10 years that I said is one of the best superhero movies of all time. And I'm going to put them in charge of our most important character.
What about Wonder Woman 1984, though? That one slipped your mind.
People, not enough people saw that one to be like Flash level. I think the Flash was more disrespectful with how they handled their ghost cameos. I'll say
the ghost cameos.
I think that, like, yeah, I don't know what the deal was with Wonder Woman 84. I don't know if that was just Patty Jenkins being like, yeah, this is whatever, I want to go with it, and it didn't work, or if it was WB being like, you gotta make it more, try to make it more like Marvel, and then it didn't end up working out. I don't know. So what I'll say is, like, when I saw the news, I was like, I wasn't thrilled about it. But then I was like, you know what? I don't know what this person's had to work with. I'm sure they're a competent writer. There's a reason why a big studio like Warner Brothers is keep hiring her.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's what I gotta say.
I think that is very, very fair. I'm still hyped for Brave and the Bold. I'm still pushing for Sklenar as Batman. I would be ecstatic to see him in the role. I mean, it's all speculation for that movie, though. At this point, like, we literally know nothing about that movie. We don't know who the villain is going to be. We don't know who's going to be playing Batman. We don't know anything.
The one thing that does make, the thing I'll say right now, if Andy Muschietti still directs it, I'm down with it because I really liked Welcome to Derry. I like it when creatives have something that they gotta prove. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why Welcome to Derry really, really landed well, especially with the CGI, because I'm like, again, more Flash criticism with the CGI and that. Anyway, I'm totally down with Andy still doing the movie. I will say, Sam Raimi, over the last year or so, has been begging, has been like, not just saying like, hey, yeah, Batman, I would do a Batman movie if it came on my doorstep. No, he's like, let me make Batman. Let me make Ra's al Ghul the main villain. Let me make a Batman movie. He's saying this stuff, and I'm just like, part of me is like, hey, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2.
3.
A lot. I like Spider-Man 3. I like Evil Dead 1, 2, and Evil Dead 3. Army of Darkness. I like those movies.
Yeah. Did you watch Ash vs. Evil Dead?
I'll be
the show.
Oh
awesome.
Yeah,
that show's so good. Yeah,
that show's really good. So, my question is, I mean, maybe things will change. Maybe if Andy gets busy, he wants to stick to Welcome to Derry. Why don't you get a good old Sam Raimi to do your Batman stuff? Because it seems like he wants to do like '70s Neil Adams kind of Batman with like race and stuff. That would be cool. I'd love that.
Yeah,
I would love to see.
That would be sick.
But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he would have to be open to. I know, like, one of the big failings of Spider-Man 3 was not that he'd have to be open to it, but I think infamously in Spider-Man 3 they were like, put in Venom, and he's like, I don't want to.
That was all
yeah,
Avi
but
Arad.
also
I was like, yo, listen, it's Venom
He
time.
was like, I don't know Venom as a character, so I don't really want to work with that character. So that, I mean, I'm just. I think they would need a writer to work with him who might be more familiar with characters that he might not know. Because I'm not sure. I've always gotten the vibe from Sam Raimi that he's like a 60s, 70s comic book enjoyer.
60s, 70s?
Jesus Christ.
But yes.
But like,
yeah, no,
like
I know what you mean, and I know what you're saying, but I think that's the point of having James Gunn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not that I would
Gunn,
want to discount him.
He knows the stuff.
Not that I want to discount him writing a Batman movie at all. That would be fucking. I'd be beyond hyped. I would even.
Yeah, no, I'd be.
You know what would be sick? If he just does like a fucking villain movie with Batman in it. Maybe he does like a fucking, I don't know, like Mr. Freeze or fucking some shit, and then he could just put Batman in as much as he wants. I think that's what's exciting about this universe, is that there's a lot of potential. Like, even if Muschietti does these mainline Batman movies, there's a possibility that I could definitely see them signing off on a spin-off or a smaller scale Batman movie or a villain movie in the Batman universe and just be like, here, Sam Raimi directed, and whoever the fuck is playing Batman will show up and film whatever scenes you want. Best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. There's a possibility of that.
I think it's a very exciting time for DC, as we say every week. I think.
Yeah, we tend to talk about DC and Batman every week now, which is funny.
I mean, they're on the up and up, you know. But comic book club time.
I suppose.
Unless you have anything else to talk about on those topics.
Nothing really comes to mind. Nope. No. I said what I said. I defended the writer that the internet is like tearing a new hole into. So
lock your doors at night. Lock your doors at night. It's all.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to close my window. Yeah. Hide your husband. Hide your wife.
Hide your kids. Yeah.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
This week on Comic Book Club, at the end of every podcast, we announce a new book we're going to be reading. If anyone wants, they can read along with us and comment down below. And this week, we're reading Star Wars Destiny Path by Charles Soule. This is the book that takes place immediately after Empire Strikes Back.
It starts in.
It starts with them leaving Bespin.
It starts in.
First thing, I love Charles Soule as a writer. I think he's awesome. He's done some really cool Daredevil stuff. First thing to talk about that I sometimes forget to comment on, the art in this book is fucking awesome. It's so good. I love. Let me see this writer's name real quick. It's written down. Jesus Says, I believe, is how you pronounce it. I might be wrong. He does such a good job of capturing the likeness of all the actors. Like, when you first see Luke, I'm like, that is just Mark Hamill. He nails the look of all the actors, the look of the Star Wars universe, the environments. Of what your thoughts are on the art.
The art, like, I found like there was a lot of parts that were like really, really good. Then there's kind of some parts where I kind of found like it does what like a lot of like average comics kind of do, especially when they're dealing with iconic characters that have like very distinct features, where they almost, I don't want to say trace, but like it almost feels like they use like a stencil and kind of like airbrushed around their features, which tends to work. Like Alex Ross, who's one of the best comic book artists of all time, maybe even the best. He uses like models for reference, and he paints everything specific to capture that very realistic feel. Yeah. This book kind of does that, and this artist definitely like touches upon that a little bit in some segments. Mm-hmm. I looked at this through my monitor, so like maybe through my monitor it looks a little bit different, but I found like when something wasn't in focus. Again, like there's a lot of stuff you gotta do as an artist. There's a lot of deadlines you gotta reach. So not everything's like gonna get its time. But like overall, I thought the art was quite good. I just thought there were some parts where I'm just like, all right, it feels like you just kind of like used a reference photo, then kind of like painted over the reference photo.
It does kind of have a little bit of
me.
in some some pages, like these first pages where he's on the Millennium Falcon leaving Bespin. They kind of do have a more...
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, they do have more of a painted look in that part. I think it looks really sick, though. I don't know how well it'll show up on screen, but, like, this incredible stuff, just so cool.
Oh, yeah, like Vader's helmet
looks awesome. And then even...
That one looks perfect, yeah.
Yeah, like this of Luke and Leia, like, that just looks... Like, he kind of just nailed it.
Yeah.
Another thing I appreciate, Charles Soule just really... He gets the way they talk. Like, the dialogue feels like the OT. It just has that kind of old-fashioned, kind of straight-to-the-point way of talking, and the banter between the characters feels right on. I love the scene when... it's shortly after... Like I keep saying, shortly after they leave Cloud City. I believe it's when they first encounter the Imperials. And Leia wants to get involved. And Lando's like, look, you all know I'm down for the cause. But he's like, but I'm not gonna... I don't think we should die for this. And Leia's like, what the fuck you mean down for the cause, you traitorous piece of shit? I love that kind of back and forth. I love that Chewbacca is always like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Lando. I think Lando's the standout of the book, actually.
Yeah, when you said the characters were accurately written, Lando immediately came to mind in that book. Like there's some parts that Luke says where I'm like, okay, like this is a little bit too Return of the Jedi kind of Luke. But I mean, that's also me being like a crazy, insane
and it
nerd,
also is
being like, all right, I see which parts of Luke Skywalker that you're drawing from. But Lando was extremely well
I think
done.
my favorite part in the book with him is when they first go to Tatooine and they're quickly surrounded by TIE fighters, and then those TIE fighters are shot down by bounty hunters who want Han, who they think is on the Falcon. And I love that Lando just like immediately cons his way out of it. And he just, the whole book is just Lando gets in a shitty situation and then just cons his way out of like any consequences. I love it. I love that he's like a scheming piece of shit. He immediately sells out the rebellion when he's, or did that happen in this book? I've read the first 4 or 5 volumes of this.
Yeah,
okay, he does that later. He does kind of rat on them to Jabba a little bit. Where he's like, look, he's like, the rebels caught me, and like I have to fucking work with them, but I fucking hate them, and I'm gonna betray them. Or he's like, I'm done with these fools. No Han in this, obviously, can't be. He's frozen in carbonite.
Yeah, he can be. Lando still wears Han.
Yes, I love that they show he's wearing it. Just a lot of cool. So a big portion of what this story is about is it's kind of following up on what happened to the rebels after Echo Base was destroyed. And I'm kind of will refer to the volumes that take place after this, but it's about like, because they scatter. Like when the Empire comes to Hoth, the rebels have to scatter just to survive. And this book is about a Imperial group that's hunting down, and it's like, we're gonna fucking find them before they would regroup, and we're just gonna wipe them all out. I think that's a cool plot. And I think as this book, I haven't finished it, but as it went on, I think it does a good job of showing the steps they took to kind of reunite all the different groups and bring them back together for Return of the Jedi when they're, fully reassembled. I think the villain, and again, this is more stuff that I see later. I think the villain's cool. I believe her name is Gore, which is from fucking the name of the guy from Thor. Love and Thunder, and also the comic book by Jason Aaron.
The God
Gore
Butcher.
the God Butcher. I think it's cool that she flies like an Imperial fucking cruiser that was damaged when the Death Star was destroyed, and the entire crew that is hunting down the rebels is like someone who lost a friend or a loved one on the Death Star, so they're all like extra motivated to like massacre them. I thought that was a cool motivation. The ship is called Tarkin's Will because she served under Tarkin. Dude, it's a later volume, but you show like how she's recruited and how Tarkin kind of mentored her. It's just very cool work on that character. But this definitely is like a book about surviving. which is I think in line with the themes of Empire Strikes Back, which is you have a New Hope, which is like a straightforward, like, here's the villain, here's the hero, point A to point B, go get that shit done, blow up the bad guys and win. And then Empire is very much a more vague story where it's like, we don't know what the fuck to do. Luke doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, I have to go to Dagobah, and a Jedi Master's there, and he's going to train me, but I don't know the correct decision. Han and Leia are like, we just need to fucking survive. Maybe we can go to Cloud City. Maybe that place will be safe. And even then, when Luke he doesn't finish his training with Yoda, but like, he's like, should I go help them or should I not? And that book is very much, or that movie is very much about survival and having to make decisions while you're uncertain about what the correct course of action is. And I think this book continues that, where it's about trying to, stay alive and find a way to gather your strength and fight back. The rebels are trying to reassemble. Luke is trying to reconnect fully with the Force. He's trying to get back his lightsaber. And it's about survival and, kind of gaining your strength back and finding your will and your ability to continue fighting. So I think that's cool. I think that's a very smart way to draw on just what that movie was about. They go back to Cloud City in this book too. they go back.
Yes,
and they find Lobot, my favorite Glup Shido, because he's in Lego Star Wars. Lobot.
Yes, he is. I like what they did with him.
And he's cool.
That was a cool visual.
He's
thing.
cool. He's in more of the book. He's really cool. I say so much. Just I don't know. Just I think this is just generally, I think, is a cool book. I think it has really cool art. I think it does a good job of capturing the essence and the tone and the vibe of the original trilogy. I think it's full of some cool ideas. I love in the last issue, I think, when that wannabe Luke is in the bar and he's like, I'm Luke Skywalker, but he wears the shades. He's like, this is my droid, my droid RT, and we blew up the Death Star. And Darth Vader's like, he just walks. He's like, so you're Luke? He's like, no, I'm just kidding. I just wanted the glory. And he just kills him. He's like, no one's gonna know who you are, bitch. Fuck you. And he leaves, and like all the the Imperial CIA are there, like, so is that Luke? Like, no, you piece of shit. And if you ever send me to kill some fucking random piece of garbage, this is the real Luke again, I'm gonna kill you too. I do like that Darth Vader's on this endless hunt for his son and is being sent on a goose chase after these, which makes sense. A bunch of clowns who want the clout of being Luke Skywalker, and he's like, I'm gonna kill all these idiots. There will be no more Luke Skywalker. Good sparing use of Vader. I
feel like, no, the Vader was used quite well. There's a co-story that kind of released around the time of this comic book. I don't know if it was by the same writer.
I know. I believe it is. I believe it is.
Okay, yeah, like it has like a Padme's body double from Phantom Menace. She shows up, and Vader does a bunch of shit, either like right after the story or right before the story, but hunting for Luke. But kind of like, again, like judging how like this comic was kind of written after Return of the Jedi, and kind of seeing how Vader was in Return of the Jedi, I think the way Vader was kind of like treating Luke after Luke said no to him was that like he's like, you'll come back to me.
Yeah.
I'll let him come to me. So I feel like seeing him like hunt for Luke at this time period, I feel like that might be a little bit much. I mean, that's just like perception of the character. I'm not like saying this book is bad because it doesn't do what I think Darth Vader would do. That voice is a little questionable, but like I'm not criticizing it for that. Just to be clear. That was another very questionable voice.
Let me be clear.
Let me be clear. But yeah, I thought it was a little neat thing to tack on there. Getting character study. Character
study. But yeah, I think this, like I said, I've read much more of this book than is covered in this first volume, and I think it does so much cool stuff as it goes on. Oh, awesome moment in this book. Luke kind of, due to his, I like that we see Luke after the realization that Obi-Wan lied to him about Darth Vader. Something we don't really get to see him struggle with in the movies. And kind of important part of this book is that really shocks him, and his connection to the Force is damaged. He in this book he's like, I am having a hard time connecting with the Force. I can't hear Obi-Wan speaking to me. But it comes back, throughout the book. I love when they're being hunted by the TIE fighters. He manages to shut, like, he rips the controls out of the pilot's hands, and the Falcon's able to shoot them all down. Cool moment.
Yeah, like that moment was cool. I feel like that was just like, again, like this dude is like the son of the chosen one. He's gonna be OP, and then that was definitely tapping into the dark side a little bit. I felt like that was maybe like a stretch of the imagination for the OT.
I don't know. I think he just had like a moment where
bit.
he he was in like a bit of desperation, and he kind of had like a big amp connection for a moment to the Force. Is how I look at it. Not that it would. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know it's like it's kind of connected to the OT, but like, doesn't Star Wars comics and books have like a long history? Like, Luke can make black holes by farting, and he can.
Yeah,
he
that's
can
in like
piss
the
Milky
EU
Way.
long after Return of the Jedi. But like, yeah, I know what you mean.
He's so powerful.
Yeah,
I know. Like,
again, I'm not judging those things. I'm judging this this takes place within the movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I think he does one thing.
Yeah.
It's like a real brief, and it's like a. I don't think he's gonna. He never, from what I remember in the book, is able to replicate anything like that. I think just in like a severe moment of stress and desperation, he taps into the Force like very intensely and is kind of able to interact with like the light and the dark side and do something, a little bit powerful. He just rips their controls away. And then he has that moment where he gets mad and he shatters the glass behind him. So he's slowly regaining his Force powers. But yeah, like I said, I think this is a fun book that if you enjoy the OT and you want to see the Star Wars characters going like that crew going on some adventures in character, going on some fun Star Wars-y side missions, I think this is a good book for that. Cool cameo for the Grand Inquisitor too. When Luke goes to try to retrieve his lightsaber, he goes to an ancient, like, Sith temple, I believe, and there's like the ghost of the Inquisitor is there.
I think it was a Jedi temple, but yeah. Yeah, it's a corrupted one because Vader kind of sets traps at those to lure people in. So like that's what the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, and it's like the ghost of him, right? It's not even like it's actually like his ghost because he's like on fire, and Darth Vader shows up and he's like, "Where's Luke?" He's like, "He got away. I'm sorry." He's like, "Fuck you, asshole." And he just leaves him. I love when Darth Vader. I love when someone pisses off Darth Vader and he's just like, "Fuck you," and he leaves. That's my favorite Darth Vader is. And he does that shit in Rogue One to Krennic. Krennic's like, "I built this Death Star." He's like, "Yeah, fuck you," and he chokes him and leaves. What a
he's like, "I don't give a fuck."
What a cool guy.
But I don't care. Yeah.
What a guy. I mean, he's
good guy that does nice things.
He's a good boss. Yeah. Cool guy.
He has a lot of compassion.
Yeah. I love him.
For certain things. Yeah.
I'm a Vader fan.
But yeah. I like Vader.
But yeah, this is my recommendation. If you want to read a fun Star Wars book, I think you could definitely do a lot worse than this. I think this is quite fun. Unless you have any more thoughts, wheel time?
So, a few things about this book, because I was kind of like semi-reading it when it was coming out, actually. I didn't recognize it on the wheel, but like I do remember watching like videos about it, because I don't know if this was like intentional from Marvel's part, but like there's a lot of like points near like the ending of like the second issue and like the third issue where they show the original character that they bring in. I have her name written. The white-haired lady, Verla, where it shows her catching the lightsaber, the Skywalker lightsaber. They show that multiple times, and it's kind of implied from Luke's vision. Obviously,
that's the person on Bespin?
The white hair, the cloaked person?
Yeah, like he has the visions of it?
Isn't that it?
Oh, I don't even know if I read far enough to figure out who the fuck that was.
I think they cleared it up to be that person. But yeah, like, so that was like the Force, or the way that they wrote it is like that was the Force just being like it was like a symbolic kind of thing or whatever, to follow his destiny to like the destiny path. But with this book, they were kind of like, it felt like it was like clickbaity because it was like, watch Luke confront the person that has Anakin's lightsaber and all these like buzz terms, and it's like Luke's gonna get his old lightsaber back like before Return of the Jedi, and then we can see
I did remember
like, all this kind of stuff.
So I will say, I read this book when I bought it a couple months ago. I didn't fully read it today to catch up for the podcast. I skimmed through it, and I was like, I remember liking this. But I do remember when I read this, kind of being like, why did he keep seeing someone on Bespin? I kept being like, I was like, what is that? Maybe, I guess I was probably like some kind of marketing thing that Marvel was making him do, I guess.
Yeah, that definitely had to be it, because I remember like a bunch of like Star Wars people, like a bunch of them all being like, yeah, so like, never mind. Yeah. Like it was the first time all those guys were like, yo, I got my theory going, and like here's how this is gonna tie into like this thing and all that, and they were just like, yeah, never mind.
They were making Star Wars theories.
Yeah, a lot of them. Plenty
of Star Wars theories. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So I found I wrote some notes about the book as well. You got Poe Dameron's dad in there.
His parents are in the book.
His mom too. Yeah, his parents are in there. I don't mind cameos like that. I just felt like the way that I just think they drew a little bit too much attention to
it.
End up being the way that Dave Filoni.
They end up being in later issues, and they have a pretty good arc. Yeah.
Okay, just within this isolated volume, it felt like. All right, it felt like a Dave Filoni kind of thing where it's like, here's Kanan as like a child, and hey guys, everyone, you should know that this guy is Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels.
I know what you mean, but yeah, they do end up playing a part in one of the later volumes, and they have a pretty good story within it.
Okay, yeah, if they have a good story, then that's all good. It is for me. It felt a little
it's like
shit-o-y. I was like, all right, like,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, like I like that he has the same jacket that he has before he gives it to Finn,
and it makes sense.
Like, I'm like, okay,
the
like
rebellion, it's whatever.
Yeah, it kind of lines up with like the age and things like that. Like that makes sense. But yeah, the other thing that I'm like, you can stretch and say that this isn't a continuity thing because it kind of isn't. But like, Verla kind of straight up tells Luke like, yeah, no, Vader wasn't lying. He is Anakin. He is like your dad if you say that you're Luke Skywalker. And in Return of the Jedi, he's still a little bit hesitant of that until he goes and sees Yoda. And like, you can tell like he's like, I know, but I need to like ask anyway just to like double confirm my suspicions. Like, is Darth Vader my father? And then Yoda's like, Yarsh.
Yeah.
Yarsh. So I felt like that was like, all right, I don't think... And also, you have another random person in the galaxy that knows Vader is Anakin. I'm also like, all right, how many motherfuckers have survived Order 66 that know this shit? That should be dead. A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty valid criticism. Again, I haven't read the rest of this series, so I don't know if any of that goes anywhere. That was kind of a big thing. And she also has escaped Vader multiple times. Cal Kestis tried to run away from Darth Vader. Didn't work out too well, and he was like a full-on... At that point, he was a pretty powerful Jedi, and she was a little
I haven't played
child,
the second
so I feel
one
like the inconsistency is there.
I haven't played this...
Well, in the second one, I haven't played the second one either. But they actually do fight in that one.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think. Instead of the runaway.
Yeah, in the first one, Vader fucking rocks his shit, and he just has to run.
Yeah. And I don't mind Luke using the temple lightsaber for like a temporary thing. It's like whatever. But yeah. I'm like, all right, like that was kind of an interesting kind of thing. If it leads to more stories in this
he gets his
book,
placeholder saber for a bit. Before he gets to make his new one, because
this did come out right after episode 9, by the way, so I feel like there was maybe a little bit to try to like draw more parallels to him and Rey, but
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
I do think
but
they
I mean,
need to bridge the gap of how he built his saber, because, I mean, I guess, he has Yoda to tell him what to do, but I always thought that was funny that, like, Darth Vader was like, oh, you built another lightsaber, huh? I'm like, how did he do that? How did he do that?
Well, I don't know if they do it in like the Disney canon, but in the EU, like they go into crazy detail.
Well, I'm sure this book. I haven't gotten to that volume yet, but I'm sure this book covers all that shit.
Yeah, but like he goes to Obi-Wan's hut, so that's why his hilt is basically just Obi-Wan's, and also he in the extended universe, the Sith made their crystals synthetic, so they were like made, and basically they had to pour amounts of like dark side energy into it while he was kind of like cooking. So that's basically what Luke did to make his green crystal in the EU. Yeah, like he made it the way that like a Sith kind of like makes theirs, but he did like a light side version of that. But then obviously you have some people that think like, oh, like maybe it's like Qui-Gon's crystal, because if he got his lightsaber from Obi-Wan, then Obi-Wan probably still has.
Yeah, he
Qui-Gon's
just has it in his
somewhere.
fucking his nightstand.
In his little chest. Hey, he had Anakin's in there.
He had a collection.
Qui-Gon's in there too.
He had all four.
He had a little collection. He has all General
Grievous's
Grievous's lightsabers. Yeah, like he has a whole chest full of them. But yeah, so yeah, that's some Star Wars tidbits for the listener. Star Wars tidbits. Yes, but yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Then we're gonna spin the wheel, and the wheel will determine what book we're going over next week. We gotta spin the freaking wheel.
The wheel.
The wheel. Let me just try again. Spin again.
Oh, that was a long spin. I felt like the other ones were shorter.
I kind of wanted to read the Flash Rebirth. Fuck y'all, but whatever. Let's see.
I actually own that one. I never read it.
All right, spin again. Fuck you. Get out of here. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's fucking awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so excited to read that.
Yeah.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to buy that shit like right now.
I love it when we get a good pick. I love when we get a good pick.
Yeah. Spider-Man Brand New Day again. Oh, wait, you guys didn't read that for this one. So we got to add it back. We got to add it back to the week. Because you read it on a different podcast. I am
never reading Spider-Man Brand New Day ever again. Wait, is that what it's called? No, it's One More Day.
One More Day. Yeah, sorry, you got to read it one more day.
Not reading that shit ever again.
You got to read it one more day, Lo. Just one more day of reading that.
0 more days of reading that book.
Just one more day. All right. That was another episode of the After Credit Show. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want more of these, make sure to smack that motherfucking like button. Or you
a bitch.
are stupid.
That too.
Yeah, you could be that too. You could be both of those actually. However, if you did reach till the end, I'm gonna need you to comment down below telling me that. Otherwise, I'm not gonna believe you. I'm just not. So, thank you again, and have a bad night. Fuck you. I hate you. Just kidding.